All right, TCMS. So here is the moment that we've been waiting for. I'm really excited to share with you how the results of this race. So I'm going to start off by just playing the race. If you didn't submit your picks in the assignment before this one, please do that first, okay, before you see the results. That wouldn't be any fun if you make guesses after watching the race. So for those of you who have made your picks already, here's the race. I'm going to just let it play, and then we'll talk about the consequences of this race. All right, so here we go.
Flight of Mars away well with Double Touch and Le Ken, White Flag, Psycho Sister Mythcal, followed by Sharp Samurai, Ohio, and Le Ken back toward the end of the field and Flamboyant last. 9 lengths covering them, and the mare Psycho Sister takes up the running from Mythcal inside Flight of Mars. Sharp Samurai 4th outside White Flag, 2 lengths to Ohio from Double Touch Le Ken, and Flamboyant round the outside. 6 furlongs to go. Psycho Sister pricking the ears on an easy lead. 1 length and a quarter from Flight of Mars, Mythcal. Sharp Samurai, White Flag is 5th. Ohio 5 lengths off the pace from Double Touch, Flamboyant, Le Ken. Midway along the back stretch, and Psycho Sister bowling along 1 length and a quarter from Flight of Mars, Mythcal. 1 length and a half Sharp Samurai, who has the back of Flight of Mars at the half-mile pole, with White Flag travelling 5th near the fence. Flamboyant inching forward 3 wide to join Ohio, and Double Touch leaving Le Ken 9th and last. They're covered by 6 lengths, 3/8 from home. Psycho Sister, a half length to Flight of Mars, and a half length to Sharp Samurai as the intensity increases in the run to the quarter pole in the City of Hope Mile. Ohio getting involved, and between horses next is White Flag, Flamboyant to the extreme outside. Flight of Mars just in front from Sharp Samurai at the 8th pole. They're 2.5 lengths clear of Ohio. Flight of Mars determined on the inside of Sharp Samurai. It's Flight of Mars, Pratt wielding the whip vigorously. Sharp Samurai with a final desperate drive at him, and it's desperately close indeed. Either Flight of Mars or Sharp Samurai. I'll leave it to the judges. Ohio finished 3rd. Le Ken running on 4th from White Flag.
All right, so for us, it's not a super huge deal whether 8 or 9 came in first, because we boxed our trifecta anyway. So a couple of things. Let me just pause here. So the final result was 8, 9, 5. Now 5 came out of nowhere, and I don't think a lot of us were really expecting 5 to do what they did. They had a 6-to-1 odds, as you can see down here at the bottom. So, you know, we weren't really expecting a whole lot from 5, but out of nowhere it came up, and it ended up in to show. So let's talk about this. That pretty much takes care of our box trifecta and our actual permutations math part that we're talking about. Just for a quick shout out, Angela and Giselle correctly guessed 895 for this October 6th, 2018 race at Santa Anita Park. It was the City of Hope Mile. And again, Angela and Giselle, you earned yourself some extra credit by correctly guessing the 3 horses that would win, place, and show. Now, let's talk some more math here, because there's a whole lot of math happening at the park. Now, before I start talking about all these numbers again, I am in no way condoning gambling, okay? I'm not encouraging gambling. As a matter of fact, for those of my students who know me well, I can't stand gambling. It stresses me out so much. I feel like I'm gonna lose money every time. So I'm not advocating gambling, but I can't get away from all the math that's happening with gambling, and especially at Santa Anita Park. So, or at any horse track, as a matter of fact. So let's talk about some things on the screen. First of all, let's look at this 50-cent trifecta. Now, you guys did trifectas when you were guessing to win, place, and show. Okay, and so what that means is if you spent 50 cents on one of the trifectas, you would have made $11.10. We boxed our trifecta, right? And when we boxed our trifecta, many of you understood that there were 6 different possibilities that could come from the 3 horses that we chose. Okay, and so those 6 different possibilities, when you box them, pretty much you're telling the racetrack, I want to bet on these 6 different possibilities. So if I go and I ask for a box trifecta and I want to put 50 cents on it, I'm paying for 6 different combinations, which means I'm going to end up paying $3. Now, typically you spend $1 on a trifecta rather than 50 cents. So again, 6 different groupings that are possible from the 3 horses that I chose. I would be handing 6 of my own dollars to the racetrack. Now, since my trifecta won, and then we did $1, not 50 cents, we could go back to the window and get $22.20. So that's how much we won off of this race. So for those of you who might have bet $1 on your win, and so you end up giving 6 of your dollars, you would have made $16.20 profit off of what you just bet. Okay, so that's how the trifecta works. Again, if for those of you who were winners, and if you had bet the $6 on the total for your 6 choices or your 6 possibilities, you would have gotten back $22 from the window. Now, before I continue, just to continue a little with the math, and let me see if I can find this screen a little later. Here it is. There's something called a superfecta. So to continue talking with the permutations that this whole lesson is about, a superfecta asks for the winner, the person who places, or the jockey and the horse who place, who show, and 4th place. So 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. Now, if we were to try and make all of the different possible results from 4 horses, then we would end up, and you can try the list out on your own, we would end up with 24 different possibilities. Okay, so someone who bets a 10-cent superfecta and you box it, you would be really doing 24 bets. That would be $2.40. Okay. Now, what's really throwing this amount off is that the 4th place horse, horse number 3, if you look back here, horse number 3 had 80-to-1 odds. The odds change throughout the day, so it might not be showing exactly what you saw in the pamphlet, because as people bet and on different horses, their odds change. As information comes up, the odds change. So horse number 3 had an 80-to-1 odds. That means people really did not expect him to come anywhere near the front of the pack, and he did. And so those 80-to-1 odds, I mean, if he had just moved up 1 more place, your trifecta would have made a lot more money. But so for those superfecta people who bet on 4 horses, but then they box it, so really they're betting on 24 possibilities, their $2.40 would have become $32.68. In the same idea as last time, if I decide to instead bet $1 on this superfecta, then that means that of my 24 choices, I would hand the clerk 24 of my dollars, but with this win, I would have gotten $326 back. So the more you bet, the more money comes back. And again, I'm not advocating gambling. I'm just talking about the math behind all this. There's lots of proportions happening, lots of fractions going on, permutations, which is what we're doing now when we box our fectas, our trifectas or superfectas. All that's going on at the racetrack. And the better you understand it, the more informed you can be while you're there. But again, for me personally, gambling that money and actually getting these horses, I mean, if 3 was at 80-to-1 odds, that means nobody was betting on that guy. So it's all very stressful to me to actually gamble my own money, but it is kind of fun to just look at the numbers and see what could have happened, and just be amazed at how these animals and these jockeys work together to make these things happen. So that's a little bit about how the racetrack works, how the numbers happen. As for permutations and deciding how many possibilities are actually coming out when we have these options, and we have these situations happening, we're going to cover that in our next video on permutations, because, you know, picking 3 horses and finding the 6 possibilities wasn't too bad. But when we start having 4, 5, 6 horses, or you know, whatever topic we're talking about, and we're trying to find the possibilities, the lists can get pretty long. So if we could have some math to help us figure those out instead, it'll save us a lot of time and effort and energy. So we'll be looking at that in the next video. Before I go, For my movie buffs out there, if you didn't get a chance to watch Seabiscuit, you might remember this clip in the slideshow that I showed in the last video. Okay, that's George Wolfe. He was a very famous jockey at the same time as Red Pollard during the Seabiscuit days. He was a little more popular because George Wolfe was just a more successful jockey, but he was really good friends with Red. And interestingly enough, the man who plays George Wolfe in the movie, his name is Gary Stevens. And Gary Stevens is a jockey in real life. Okay, and as you can see, he's ridden in the Kentucky Derby, which is a pretty popular race, Belmont Stakes, Breeders' Cup, the Santa Anita Derby. He's a very decorated jockey. And coincidentally, the winner of our City of Hope race on October 6, 2018 is Gary Stevens. So I thought that was kind of cool, in case you guys are wondering. I thought it was pretty interesting that the person who won our math class race is the same person from the movie that we talked about in our slideshow. So here they're weighing him to make sure there was no cheating involved. And there he is, looking a little older from when we saw him in the movie. But I don't know, I just thought that was kind of interesting for those of you who are interested in movies and such. There was a connection there that I didn't really know was happening until this morning, actually. So there he is. And I hope you enjoyed this activity. I hope it got you inspired as to how much math is involved with real life things, especially odds and statistics and all that sort of stuff. I'm sure you've been seeing a lot of stats getting flashed at you in the news while we're going through this quarantine. So again, I hope you enjoyed it. If you've got any questions, as always, feel free to contact me. And please look out for our next video, where we're going to look into the math of and the formulas of permutation, so we're not stuck making really long, drawn-out lists if we don't have to. So again, congratulations, and Angela and Giselle, for picking the correct winners so far, because not everybody's posted yet, but so far Angela and Giselle have earned themselves some extra credit. The rest of you, great job. You earned your full credit for posting your winners and for posting the combination or the permutations, all the different possibilities that could come from those winners. I was very impressed with how organized your lists were, and I look forward to continuing our work in Unit 3. Thanks for sticking with me, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.